A man charged with killing someone coming into his home down in Beloit says he did it in self-defense.
And lawmakers are talking about changing the rules for companies that ship alcohol into Wisconsin.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It's Wednesday, November 28th. I have a bit of a rude awakening this morning coming back from my vacation in Florida. 85 degrees. What is it right now? 20?
20.
You know, a 65-degree difference.
This is balmy.
You can do it.
Yesterday it was 16.
Balmy. Hattie earlier said, oh, temperatures are going up to the 40s this weekend. I thought, yay, that's so exciting.
It is exciting.
That is exciting
for us that have been here and not in the tropics.
Yeah,
That's true.
we've been stuck in the deep freeze for, it feels like all month, and it pretty much is the case. We're going to end the month no differently. Temperatures are going to stay cold. Here's a live look from the WISC-TV sky cam. We have a bit of cloud cover here in the Madison area, but elsewhere across the region, skies are actually clear. On either side of Dane County, significant clearing taking place this morning, and you'll see that in the temperatures. Madison and Janesville are at 20 degrees, Watertown's at 14, and Lone Rock is down to 14 as well. So those clouds acting as a little bit of a blanket for us here in Dane County. Temperatures are going to climb today a little bit higher than they did yesterday. Yesterday's official high was 24. Today will top at 29. Not making it above the freezing point once again today. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. There was a stalled vehicle on the ramp approaching the eastbound Beltline from Verona Road. That has been cleared. No other delays to report right now. Looks like travel times into Madison from the surrounding communities still looking normal for this time of the day.
You know, the silver lining to coming back is waking up. It's really easy to completely wake up out of your vacation slumber when you're getting hit with cold winds.
That's true.
In the morning.
That's true. No problems there.
No.
All right. Thanks for waking me up this morning, Hans.
You're welcome.
We want to start this hour down in Rock County, where a Beloit man accused of killing another man last week remains in jail as prosecutors prepare for his bail hearing on Friday. Beloit police say 20-year-old Ezequiel Acosta shot Jose Reyes multiple times in his home last Wednesday. Now, Acosta claims Reyes came into his home uninvited and that he shot him in self-defense to prevent him from breaking in. The Beloit police chief says the district attorney doesn't believe that's the case and officially charged Acosta with first-degree homicide yesterday. There's no word on why Acosta may have killed Reyes or whether the men even knew one another beforehand. Again, he is set to be back in court Friday, where a judge will set bail conditions. A
Madison man is now in custody 2 days after police say he hit and seriously injured a woman with his car, then left her at the scene. Police say 24-year-old C.D. Drama was arrested yesterday morning on suspicion of hit and run causing great bodily harm. That accident happened on Sunday. That's when a 46-year-old Madison woman was found unconscious at the intersection of East Johnson Street and Wisconsin Avenue around 3 in the morning. That woman is still in the hospital. She is in stable condition this morning.
The Sauk County Sheriff's Office is looking for this young woman here who has been missing since Thanksgiving Day. 20-year-old Jamie Goodyear has not been to work since then. She was last heard from via Facebook on Friday. Now, Jamie's 5'8" with red hair and multiple tattoos. Authorities believe she might be in the Dodgeville area. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Sheriff's Office.
We are learning more about the measures Republicans hope to pass in a lame duck session before Governor-elect Tony Evers is sworn into office. Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald says Republicans don't have the support they need to pass a tax break bill for Kimberly-Clark. That would give the company $100 million in incentives to keep its Fox Valley plant open and save upwards of 500 jobs there. No Democrats have said they would vote for the bill. Republicans are also talking about moving the 2020 presidential primary here in the state from April to March and limiting the governor's power to enact administrative rules. The lame duck session could begin as early as next week.
Later this morning, lawmakers will talk about how alcohol is shipped in and out of the state. Current laws don't lay out any restrictions for ordering alcohol from out of state and having it shipped, of course, legally here to Wisconsin. However, the Study Committee on Alcohol Beverages Enforcement will take a look at a bill today that would require reports from companies that regularly bring those drinks here. Another proposal would increase enforcement on anyone shipping alcohol and wine in from outside Wisconsin. And there's also a drafted bill that would change the rules for places that send wine directly to individuals here in the state. This morning's meeting starts at 10 o'clock over at the state capitol. Meanwhile, the Attorney General says places like wedding barns should have to buy a liquor license before serving beer and wine at events. Right now, anyone with a barn or similar venues on their property does not need an alcohol license to rent it out for events. In an informal opinion earlier this month, Attorney General Brad Schimmel wrote that there is no distinction between bars and other public places that host open events and a public place that's rented out for a limited guest list, like a wedding. Now, barn owners say the license costs about $10,000 up front, and since some of them only operate 6 months out of the year, that alone could put them out of business.
State regulators are giving potential hemp farmers another 2 months to apply for licenses for the 2019 growing season. The deadline for both new applications and renewals is extended from December 31st to March 1st. 242 hemp farmers were licensed in 2018. 139 reported planting this season. Speaking of planting, a rainy year is still causing a problem for farmers. They're now dealing with a shortage of Christmas trees.
Say it ain't so. At least one local tree farm lost a good bit of their crop due to the flooding, only adding to a lack of trees nationwide. Josh Spreiter is live this morning at Jensen Trees in Verona with more on that story. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, ladies. Here at Jensen Trees, they actually lost around an acre of their smaller trees under 3 inches due to all of that heavy rain and flooding. The trees actually take around 8 to 12 years to grow, so this could be something we deal with the shortage for quite some time. This year, American consumers are expected to buy around 27 million trees. Experts say you can blame the nationwide shortage on the 2009 recession and an excess amount of trees a decade ago that drove many growers out of business. When the economy struggled, tree farmers cut back on plantings. Those trees were set to come to market over the next few years. That means while the demand is high in today's good economic times, the supply is low, making things difficult for local farms like Jensen Trees.
We had a glut of tall trees for a while, for 10 years. And now we're at the other end of the cycle where we're growing them. We will have a bunch, but they're all little.
Because of that, prices are expected to be just a bit higher this year with a national average retail price of $75 a tree. Tree farmers will get a little extra time to sell this year with Thanksgiving coming early, but because there are not enough trees, they're expected to go fast over the next couple of weeks. Ladies, I found myself in a little bit of a sticky situation. I touched a Christmas tree earlier, and now it reminds me of Christmas Vacation when Clark gets the magazine all sticky with his hands with the sap. So,
oh, Lord.
Not fun.
Josh Spreiter, always bringing the Christmas holiday spirit into the show for us.
You bet.
Thanks for reporting live. See you, Josh.
6:07 right now. There is a special Christmas tree in northern Wisconsin that is dedicated to finding a missing teenager.
We run on hope right now, and that's what this tree symbolizes, and it just brings a smile to my face.
So staff at the Barron County Justice Center has dedicated that tree to 13-year-old Jamie Kloss, who's been missing for more than a month now. The clerk of court says she and her co-workers each took on different tasks, making the tree skirt, buying bulbs, tying on ribbons. It's all to bring officers some sense of holiday happiness as they go through tips. Still, they also want to show Jamie's family that they are still hanging on to hope of finding her.
6:08 your time now. After launching an ad campaign in places like Chicago and Minneapolis to get college grads to move across the border, there's a new effort to get servicemen and women to Wisconsin after they finish their military time. We are talking about that recruiting program coming up.
And Hattie's saying we could see some more light snow overnight before a mix of flakes and freezing drizzle comes into play. Her full forecast is coming up next on News 3 this morning.
This
Good morning from the patio. A few snowflakes still floating down this morning with some clouds here in Madison. Clouds are actually keeping temperatures a little warmer for us overnight, but those clouds worked against us yesterday. High temperatures across the region. Not very high, 24 in Madison, only 21 in the Dells and Camp Douglas, 27 from Platteville up to Boscobel and over to Mineral Point. So a kind of a cool day yesterday. Temperatures will be just a couple of degrees warmer today. Not a whole lot showing up on the Doppler map this morning. Again, those flurries are very light, but I am watching a storm system off to our west. You can see a decent amount of snow developing across the Dakotas into western Minnesota and Iowa. Even some light mixed precipitation on the backside with warmer temperatures in the northern plains this morning. Warm is one thing we are not, though. But take a look at this satellite and radar map, and you'll see that there's a little bit of clearing taking place in between Madison and this storm system to the west. So we should see a fair amount of sunshine through the morning. Enjoy it early because clouds will move in for the afternoon. Where skies are clear, that's where temperatures are the coldest this morning, and southern Wisconsin is included. Little narrow band of clouds through Madison and Janesville is holding temperatures in the low 20s this morning, but either side of Dane County, temperatures have dropped into the mid-teens. 14 in Lone Rock, 16 in Prairie du Chien, now down to 10 in Boscobel. On the other side of the east, it's only 14 in Waukesha, or 14 in Watertown and 12 in Waukesha. Take a look at the wind speeds and directions, though. Winds are nearly calm in most locations this morning, so no real big wind chill factor early today. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. It is picking up on that narrow band of clouds through south central Wisconsin. But as we go through the morning, those clouds dissipate and we see a little bit of sunshine. Clouds quickly, though, spreading in from the west. That'll be cloudy this afternoon with highs in the upper 20s. Snow is in our forecast, but it takes a while to reach southern Wisconsin. By 8 o'clock, that snow just moving across the Mississippi River Valley. It then spreads across the area through the morning hours. As temperatures get pretty close to that freezing point tomorrow morning, we may see a little bit of freezing drizzle mix in for a short time. Any snow accumulations, though, are likely to be on the light side. Let's take a look at the latest model updates. An inch or less across southern Wisconsin is expected. So not a major snow event for us, but it may impact travel tomorrow morning. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. We finally get back into the 30s for highs for a couple of days, even 40 on Saturday. But those warmer temperatures come with a price. The next storm system this weekend bringing the warmer temperatures and a mix of precipitation starting Friday night into early Saturday. We'll transition to all rain for a time during the afternoon on Saturday and then back to a mix Saturday night into Sunday. Temperatures are expected to cool down then as we head into next week. Let's take a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. Jason Ryan has all the details. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No real issues anywhere on the Beltline for this Wednesday morning. Both directions are free and clear to drive from one end to the other. The interstate and highways around town are clear of delays as well. Everything looks to be running okay for the morning commute. Downtown is seeing a couple of spots of note. West Wash and South Broome look to be backed up. Wisconsin Avenue as well between Gorham and Johnson. Your drive times are normal for this time of the morning, so there's no delay slowing you down on your trip. With First Alert Traffic, I'm Jason Ryan.
All right. Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you, Hattie. 6:15 your time now. A representative from Foxconn will be in Madison today as part of a conference on the future of Wisconsin's economy. The 5th annual Future Wisconsin Summit is happening this morning over at the Monona Terrace. It's going to include a discussion with Foxconn's director about the company's location in Mount Pleasant and the innovation centers it's building across the state. Foxconn did announce to cut about $2.9 billion from its expenses a week ago, but state officials have said they aren't concerned about Foxconn's investments here in Wisconsin. Also at that Future Wisconsin Summit, the state is going to talk about recruiting more veterans for Wisconsin's workforce. The state is spending almost $2 million on the Mission Wisconsin campaign to attract military personnel when they leave the service. Officials from WISC, the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Department of Workforce Development will announce a program Wisconsin businesses can join in on to help hire those veterans. We'll have those details up on channel3000.com later today.
Metro bus routes on the east side could see some significant changes come March, and you can voice your opinion on those tonight. The city's looking at eliminating a stretch of Buckeye Road from Route 37 since construction will take away parking options at some of the layover stops from Cottage Grove Road to Monona Drive. That will also shift service toward the new Royster Clark building and the Penny Library location. Then Route 38 will shift from Oak Ridge to Atwood Avenue. Ridership is pretty low in that area because it's primarily residential. You can find out more about the plan for next spring and let Metro officials know what you think at a public hearing at 6 tonight. The city's also looking ahead to officially kicking off the Bus Rapid Transit project. That system would complement current Metro routes, but use designated lanes throughout Madison, providing a faster, more cost-effective service. The city budgeted $47 million in the latest capital budget to improve and repair current Metro buses and another $30 million for a new garage. The public kickoff meeting happens on December 12th.
On Capitol Hill today, senators will talk about the state of America's roads, bridges, and railways and how to address their needs in the future. This comes about a week after Governor Walker's office released an analysis saying Governor-elect Tony Evers will face a more than $1 billion shortfall in the next state budget. During his campaign, Evers criticized the governor for not doing enough for infrastructure here in Wisconsin and not being willing to introduce new taxes to pay for roads. Also in D.C., the president and CEO of a nonprofit healthcare cooperative here in Madison will be on Capitol Hill today, talking to lawmakers about reducing healthcare costs. Cheryl DeMars runs the Alliance. She's going to testify in front of the Senate Health Committee this morning on the topic of affordable care and innovation in the field.
Speaking of health, we are seeing fewer smokers across the state, even among groups that typically have high rates of cigarette use. We'll tell you more about those statistics after the break.
And for one fleeting moment coming home, I thought, wow, it's nice to be back where it actually feels like winter. Just for one fleeting moment, folks. But I'm already ready to go back to Florida weather. Hattie's going to let you know how many layers to pile on the kiddos this morning when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. It's midweek Wednesday and starting out in Platteville this morning, the view looks pretty nice. Skies are clear there. We have clouds here though in Madison. Take a look at weather track, a narrow band of clouds still through south central Wisconsin. Those clouds acting like a blanket and keeping temperatures up a little bit. 20 in Madison and 21 in Janesville. Contrast that with 18 in Mineral Point, 16 in Prairie du Chien, and 14 in Watertown this morning. We will see some sunshine early on. Winds will stay fairly light today. So here's a look at your bus stop forecast. Temperatures topping in the upper 20s today. Another cold one as you head out the door this morning. Clouds moving in for the afternoon. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you so much, Hattie. 6:22 your time now. There is a new report out this morning that shows some serious racial disparities for 2 Wisconsin cities. That study by 24/7 Wall Street says Milwaukee is the second worst city in the country for African Americans to live in. Racine is third. Black households in those cities are making about half the average income white households are making, and the black population in Milwaukee faces one of the highest poverty rates in the nation, while white people in that city have one of the lowest. In Racine, black people are 12 times as likely to be imprisoned as white people. Waterloo, Iowa came in at the top of that list.
New data shows statewide efforts to reduce smoking rates are paying off. According to the State Department of Health Services, 16% of adults in Wisconsin smoked last year, which is a new low for the state. One of the biggest reductions is among people 35 to 44 years old. About 1 in 5 people in that age range are smokers still, compared to about 1 in 4 last year.
Later today, Dane County's Food Council will talk about 2 different programs that are helping to address hunger for families in our area. The Food for Thought initiative provides weekend meals and in-school food pantries throughout the Madison area. And the Partner Shares program helps pay for up to half of CSAs and food shares for limited income households. Representatives from both of those efforts will talk to Food Council members at their meeting tonight.
Janesville's Salvation Army is gearing up to help more families in need this holiday season. There are now 3 more dates over the next week or so when families can sign up for the organization's Christmas toy shop and food baskets. Those dates and times are on your screen there. Now, this help is available on a first-come, first-served basis at the Salvation Army's Family Services Food Pantry building on Sutherland Avenue near Glen Street. You will need a photo ID, birth certificates, a food stamp letter, proof of household income, and address verification in order to sign up.
State lawmakers are being asked to spend millions of dollars to pair up people without a home with someone who can help. We're going to have more on that plan still ahead.
And 3 officers accused of trying to cover up a fatal police shooting in Chicago will be back in a courtroom today. We'll update you on that case when News 3 This Morning continues. Madison's water utility says the state took too long to raise rates, and that's why it's down another $2 million this year. We'll have an update on that new deficit.
It is a tremendous morning out here on the Christmas tree farm. I'm Josh Butter live in Verona with why it may actually cost you a few extra bucks to get that Christmas tree this year.
This is News 3 This Morning.
So proud of himself out there. Proud of himself. Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 this morning. It is 6:28 on this Wednesday, November 28th. And in case you missed the comedy hour, Josh will be here all week.
Yeah, and in case you're not into the holiday spirit yet, Josh will be here all week. So will Hattie. She's all bundled up outside with some temperatures that are pretty holiday-like there, Hads.
Certainly feels like the holidays outside. Now we just need a little snow on the ground. We do have some snow in the forecast tonight. It's not much, I'll be honest, but at least a little bit. Let's take a live look from the WISC-TV sky cam. Some clouds here in the Madison area, but the band of clouds is actually pretty narrow. It's not impacting very many people this morning. Here's a look at your out-the-door forecast. Expect some sunshine early on. Now, before this next storm system moves in, it's going to be partly sunny and clear this morning, or partly sunny and cold, I should say. Temperatures in the teens in most locations. Will top in the upper 20s this afternoon with an increase in the clouds. Snow is in the forecast tonight, so we'll talk about amounts coming up in Maine weather. Here's a look, though, at your traffic maps this morning. Starting to see a little bit of congestion at the Stoughton Road intersection with the Beltline. Otherwise, travel looking good around the area. I looked around, no accidents to report this morning, which is always great news. You're traveling at posted speeds heading into Madison right now. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right, thanks so much, Hattie. Madison's water utility is blaming its latest budget shortfall on a slow rate hike. The utility is down $2.1 million in its 2018 budget after a $6 million shortfall in 2017. It says this latest deficit comes as the most recent rate increase took more than a year to be approved. Those rate increases just went into effect at the beginning of November, about 16 months after they were submitted. Madison Water Utility says it cut an extra $1.6 million from its budget to help with that shortfall, but some expenses just couldn't be avoided. Those costs should be covered through a bond sale that's happening next month. Madison officials are addressing some concerns over a relatively new apartment building that's seen a high rate of police calls. The Tree Lane family apartments on the west side of Madison opened just 5 months ago, and police have already been called there more than 200 times. That includes a shooting last week. Alder Paul Skidmore says building management, Heartland Housing, has failed to provide any kind of security there. Yesterday, Mayor Paul Soglin assigned Deputy Mayor Gloria Reyes as an emergency site manager. Reyes will collect data, give advice to Heartland Housing, and provide the mayor with a full report of what the next step should be for that property.
A group committed to finding solutions to homelessness here in Wisconsin has come up with its first action plan since it started a year ago. The report from the Wisconsin Interagency Council on Homelessness is called A Hand and a Home, Foundations for Success. Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Clayfish was at Madison's Beacon Day Shelter yesterday to introduce that plan. It focuses on housing and also matches people without a home with case managers to try and prevent chronic homelessness for Wisconsinites. Nearly 22,000 homeless individuals received services or shelter last year here in the state, but thousands more are out on the streets. The action plan calls for more than $3.5 million in state funding each year through 2022, which will require legislative approval.
This is bigger than Laquan. This is bigger than Chicago. This is happening all over the country. Police are covering up murders of young people. Blacks are being shot down on the street, and we will not stand for it any longer.
Today is day 2 of the trial for 3 Chicago police officers accused of trying to cover up what happened the night another officer fatally shot 17-year-old Laquan McDonald back in 2014. David March and Joseph Walsh are retired, while Thomas Gaffney is suspended right now without pay. They're accused of coordinating their stories and making false police reports. Their trial is expected to last about a week, and it comes after Officer Jason Van Dyke was found guilty of second-degree murder after firing 16 shots to kill McDonald. And a warning, some of you might find this next video disturbing. This body camera video is going viral this morning. It shows a Milwaukee police officer shooting an unarmed man in the leg. In it, you can see the police officer shoot 19-year-old Jerry Smith Jr. while his hands were out and empty. It happened last August after Smith ran from officers during a fight. He now has to walk with a cane because that shooting left his right leg paralyzed. The district attorney has cleared the officers of any criminal charges and is not commenting any further. Smith has already filed a criminal rights complaint and hopes to bring his case to a federal grand jury.
There's a private send-off plan for nearly 400 Wisconsin National Guard soldiers deploying to Afghanistan this winter. Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Clayfish and senior Guard leaders will gather with the troops, family, and friends for a ceremony at Lambeau tomorrow. The Post-Crescent reports the send-off is not open to the public. The soldiers are being deployed from the Appleton-based 2nd Battalion, 127th Infantry, and will be part of a NATO-led mission to provide training and support to Afghan security forces. That deployment was announced back in September.
6:33 your time now. The nationwide Christmas tree shortage is driving up Tannenbaum prices across the country.
And Wisconsin's no different. This summer's weather, though, could limit the tree selection even more for many more Christmases to come. Now, Josh Spreiter is live at Jensen Trees in Verona this morning to explain. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. The Jensens tell me it was actually a really good year when it came to tree growth, but the wacky weather did have its impact on the crops. They actually lost around an acre of their trees due to the flooding with the heavy rains this summer, losing most of their young trees under 3 inches in that area. The Jensens say the best thing is to remain flexible and resilient. What's tricky is Christmas trees are a longer-term crop and that the average cycle from planting to harvesting is about 8 years. After the recession last decade and the challenging growing seasons due to weather, they're left with a high demand and a low supply.
Our seasons used to be 6 weeks long, or from the day after Thanksgiving through up to Christmas. And we close now 2, maybe 3 weeks in, so we just don't have as many trees, and there's a lot more people.
The Jensens say Wisconsin actually has some of the best Christmas tree crop in the country. One of the more popular trees here are the Fraser firs. And back out here live at Jensen's Trees, the average cost for a tree nationwide right now sits around $75. I'm told don't wait too long if you do want to get that tree because those trees are expected to go fast over the next couple of weeks, guys. And ladies, I have to do it, Leah. I'm sorry.
Oh,
you
no.
have never seen Christmas Vacation. Who are you? I don't even know you.
I know. I'm so embarrassed. Please forgive me.
I can't believe it. What's your favorite Christmas movie then?
Obviously, The Grinch. Please.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hands down.
I like Christmas with the Cranks. That's a good one too.
Oh, that's a good one as well. Danica, you're a big fan of Elf.
I know, I do love Will Ferrell and Elf. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Okay, News 3 morning date. News 3 morning date.
There
We'll all
we go.
watch Christmas Vacation. All right, Josh
Sounds
Spreiter
good.
reporting live for us. Thank you, Josh.
6:35 right now. We are learning more about what Republicans want to get accomplished when they come back to the state capitol as soon as next week.
And it's an investment a biotech company is calling the largest financing ever for a Wisconsin startup. We'll tell you how tens of millions of dollars will help bring a first-of-its-kind facility to Janesville.
Welcome back. It is 6:39 now on this Wednesday morning, and Julie, our friend Julie Hogue, sent this one over for our My Morning Picture this morning. This must have been a couple weeks ago because it was just enough snow to contrast the red leaves, and I am not seeing much foliage out there anymore.
No, you're really not. But you know what? If it's going to be this cold, hopefully we're going to get some snow in the forecast.
That is the hope, and not the sleet and other mess that Hattie's calling for.
We'll talk to Hattie in just a minute. But thanks for sharing, Julie. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on our Facebook page or on Twitter, and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning so Danica and I can share our favorites right here on the program.
The head of Shine Medical Technologies says they've landed the largest investment ever for a Wisconsin startup, money that will help get a facility in Janesville up and running. The biotechnology company will get $150 million from a New York-based healthcare investment firm. Shine is working to be the first American company to produce and ship what's known as Moly-99. That medical isotope is used to illuminate bone and body tissue in medical imaging tests. Shine's 45,000 square foot plant will be built just east of the airport in Janesville. That construction alone is projected to cost $100 million. Governor Walker's administration says after 15 years of disputes, it has reached a deal with the Potawatomi tribe regarding its casino in Milwaukee. That deal limits state's liability to $250 million if a new casino opens near the tribe's pre-existing casino and takes away from that tribe's profits. The governor estimated the state's liability could be as high as $500 million before this agreement. The deal is now subject to approval by the Federal Bureau of Indian Affairs.
The Madison Police Department is getting some recognition and a donation for going green. The group Focus on Energy is presenting a check for $20,000 to Madison Police later today for making their new Midtown station energy efficient. The city worked with the group during the construction of that new station and ended up saving the energy equivalent of 3 million pounds of burned coal. That's pretty cool. The new Midtown station officially opened on Mineral Point Road last month. Okay, 6:41 your time now. Within the last 24 hours, I've managed to drop about 50 degrees.
If not more.
If not more. Okay, so it was bound to happen coming back from one of the most tropical spots in the continental U.S., but that doesn't make it any easier for me. Hattie has a rude return to Wisconsin for me coming up in our first alert forecast.
First, though, if you have a kiddo turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV and help celebrate. And thanks for watching News 3 this morning.
Look
Welcome back. If you've driven by the Wanderers Rest Cemetery up in Columbia County this time of year, you've probably seen a bright orange hunting coat draped over a gravestone.
That's happened for about a decade now, and most people didn't know who was doing it or why. It turns out Kim Swan has been placing the coat on her mother's grave as a way to honor her during the deer hunt season. Kim's mom, Vera, died of lung cancer back in 2008. Vera, though, was an avid hunter, and as a way to pay her respects and remember her mom every fall, Kim places the orange coat on her gravestone and removes it at the end of the season.
When we got out our hunting gear that first year, we just held Mom's coat and I started crying and I said, I want to go put it on Mom. And my husband said, well, we can put it on her gravestone.
Kim says this tradition is a way for her to always be with her mom for every deer hunting season, I should say. You can hear more from Kim over on channel3000.com.
Pretty incredible and uniquely Wisconsin tribute there.
Most definitely.
You know what else is uniquely Wisconsin is Hattie's forecast today, Hats.
Yeah, definitely. We've been cold for some time, and again today we're not going to change that trend. Normal high for this time of the year still in the upper 30s. We'll top in the upper 20s today, 8 to 10 degrees below where we should be. Now there is some snow on the ground across parts of Wisconsin, but most of the state actually snow-free right now. You can see the very sharp cutoff across parts of Iowa into southern Wisconsin from that latest storm this past weekend. Parts of eastern Iowa picking up 9 to 12 inches, whereas just a few miles to the north, hardly a snowflake falling from that system. Here in most of southern Wisconsin, though, we don't have any snow on the ground. We're going to add a little bit tonight. Here's a look at the snow potential. Starting late tonight into the early morning hours tomorrow, we could see around an inch of snow across parts of the region. Lightest amounts will be right along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, slightly higher amounts to the north. So about an inch possible overnight tonight into early tomorrow. That snow is already on the map to the west. You can see west of the Mississippi River Valley this morning, scattered snow showers, having a tough time working their way towards the east. The air is very dry here across southern Wisconsin, so it'll take several hours for the atmosphere to saturate through the day today. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. Out to the Midwest perspective, you can see a little bit of clearing taking place, so some sunshine early today. The clouds move in for the afternoon. Snow starts to spread in, though, after 7 p.m. tonight, so this will be a nighttime event for us, and the snow should come to an end pretty quickly tomorrow morning. Slightly warmer temperatures tomorrow, though, so there is the potential for a little bit of freezing drizzle early in the morning. Otherwise, just cloudy skies through the rest of the day. Looks like plenty of clouds lingering around here on Friday as well. We are seeing some of that cloud cover here in Madison. Nice narrow pink strip, though, with the sun coming up this morning right on the horizon. 20 degrees here in Madison. You can definitely tell the effects of the clouds. In Janesville, it's 21 as well. That's where the clouds are. To the east, 13 in Watertown right now, 14 in Lone Rock, and 16 in Prairie du Chien. Here's a look at your pinpoint city forecast. Clouds will spread from west to east across the area this afternoon. 29 for a high in Fort Atkinson and Watertown. Some prairie tops at 27 degrees. To the west, you're definitely going to see that cloud cover earlier. That'll keep highs in the upper 20s in Platteville, 27, as well as Cuba City. To the north, temperatures will be very similar, 28 in Mauston as well as Adams. Here in Madison, we're looking at a high right around 29 degrees today. Temperatures will warm a little bit as we head through the rest of the week into the upcoming weekend. That warming comes with a bit of a price, though. Another storm starting late Friday into the weekend will bring a mix of precipitation Friday night into Saturday morning, and then it will change to all rain through the day on Saturday. Back to a mix Saturday night into Sunday. So for that next storm, it looks like we're going to receive more rain than snow. Temperatures will then cool down back into the 20s for next week. All sorts of cuteness in this picture. Look at Luna and Amaya and Madison. I don't know which one's cuter.
Oh,
snuggled up there.
Best of friends, yeah. That's my mood in this weather.
I think it is appropriate.
All right. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Morning Sprint's coming up next right here on News 3 This Morning. It's almost 6:52. Time now for the morning sprint. Hattie says we could get another dusting of snow tonight.
Perfect weather to be getting into the holiday spirit. And Josh Spreiter shares why you might want to get out earlier than planned to find your Christmas tree. But we start in Beloit, where a man is officially facing charges in last week's homicide. Police say 20-year-old Ezekiel Acosta shot Jose Reyes multiple times in his home last Wednesday. Acosta claims Reyes was breaking in and he shot him in self-defense. The DA didn't believe him and officially charged Acosta with first-degree homicide yesterday. He's set to be back in court on Friday when a judge will set bail conditions.
2 former Chicago police officers and 1 suspended officer will be back in court today. They're charged with trying to cover up what actually happened the night 17-year-old Laquan McDonald was shot and killed. This will be the second day for that trial. Their colleague, Jason Van Dyke, was found guilty of second-degree murder after firing 16 shots at McDonald in 2014. Thomas Gaffney, David March, and Joseph Walsh are accused of coordinating their stories and making false police reports.
A warning, this next video is graphic. In Milwaukee, newly released body cam video of police shooting an unarmed man is going viral. In it, you can see police shoot 19-year-old Jerry Smith Jr. after he ran from officers during a fight. The DA has cleared the officers of criminal charges and isn't commenting any further. Smith has already filed a criminal rights complaint and hopes to bring his case to a federal grand jury.
The Sauk County Sheriff's Office is looking for this young woman who has now been missing since Thanksgiving Day. 20-year-old Jamie Goodyear has not been to work since then. She was last heard from via Facebook on Friday. Jamie is 5'8" with red hair and multiple tattoos. Authorities believe she may be in the Dodgeville area. Anyone with information is asked to call Sauk County authorities.
And take a look at this view from our Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam in Platteville this morning. Gorgeous sunrise underway there. We have a bit more cloud cover here in Madison. You can see that narrow strip of clouds through south central Wisconsin. Those clouds should eventually dissipate. We'll have a little bit of sunshine early on today. Temperatures, though, starting in the teens in most locations, climbing to highs in the upper 20s today. So even with that sunshine, it's still going to be a chilly day.
All right, thank you, Hattie. New information coming in overnight shows the Indonesian jetliner that crashed into the Java Sea last month shouldn't have been flying in the first place. The flight data recorder reveals a new anti-stall system kept automatically pushing the nose of the plane down during that 11-minute flight. Family members of the victims are now suing the manufacturer, Boeing, over those faults in the jet's automated safety feature.
President Trump continues to threaten General Motors with subsidy cuts this morning. GM announced plans to close multiple factories here in the U.S. and lay off up to 14,000 workers. Mr. Trump says that shows GM favors China over America and is warning he could cut all of the automaker's federal subsidies, including ones for electric cars. The restructuring for GM is meant to better position it for a future in electric and autonomous vehicles.
At the state capitol, Republicans say they don't have the votes to pass a tax break bill to save 500 jobs at the Fox Valley Kimberly-Clark plant. No Democrats have said they would vote for that bill. Those discussions will continue before Tony Evers is sworn into office in a lame duck session that could begin as early as next week. Republicans are also talking about moving the state's presidential primary from April to March and limiting the governor's power to enact administrative rules.
Just into our newsroom this morning, another Madison alder says he will not seek another term on council. Alder David Aarons, who represents parts of the east side along the east shore of Lake Monona, says it's despite its some frustrating times, it's been a rewarding opportunity to learn and serve his constituents. Aaron is the 4th alder now to resign over the last few months, along with Sarah Eskridge, Mark Clear, and Denise DeMarb.
I'm Josh Spreiter live at Jensen Trees in Verona, where they, along with a lot of other local tree farms, are having a hard time keeping up with the high demand of Christmas trees this year. Experts say you can blame the nationwide shortage on the 2009 recession and an excess amount of trees a decade ago that drove many growers out of business. When the economy struggled, tree farmers cut back on plantings. Those trees were set to come to market over the next few years. Mother Nature is also giving farmers a hard time staying steady. That means while the demand is high and today is good economic times, the supply is low. 27 million Americans are expected to buy a tree this year, with an average price sitting around $75.
Thank you, Josh. Madison's water utility is blaming its latest budget shortfall on a slow rate hike. This year's $2.1 million shortfall comes just after last year's $6 million deficit. Those rate increases just went into effect at the beginning of November, about 16 months after they were submitted.
State economic leaders will meet today to get more companies involved in what's known as Mission Wisconsin. That project's aimed at recruiting more veterans to work here in the state. And later today, leaders will announce a new program businesses can join to attract more servicemen and women to their workplaces.
6:56 your time now. Let's turn it over to Jason Ryan with a look at your first alert traffic. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. The Beltline's still clear of delays, but watch out for trying to get on and off the Beltline as some ramps are starting to back up at Stoughton Road, Park, and Verona Road. John Nolan heading downtown as traffic caught up at Rimrock and at East Olin Avenue. Downtown slow at Fairchild and West Wash, and South Blair at East Wash. Your drive time still looking good for the morning commute. Be ready to get held up an extra minute or two at the ramps to the Beltline as more vehicles come into town. With First Alert Traffic, I'm Jason Ryan.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
And kind of a cloudy start here in Madison, but there will be some sunshine through the morning hours today. Take a look at your day planner temperatures, starting in the teens in most locations, climbing to highs only in the upper 20s this afternoon. Some light snow is in the forecast tonight. You'll likely have to dust off the car as you head to work tomorrow morning.
Glad to be back.
Happy to have you back.
Glad to be
Welcome
back. Truly am. Bundle up this morning, folks. Have a great day.